Us. And in our purchase or pass segment this week, we nearly always try and buy properties with parking. But what happens with your investment decision when it might have parking but might not? Now, it's a 3-bedroom unit in a small block of 4, 11.1 kilometres from the CBD and less than 100 metres to the local beach. It's in a small, recently refurbished Art Deco block of 4 units. Now, the property itself is beautifully presented and is a large 114 square metres, and it's semi-sized garden apartment. There are DA approved plans for garaging and a garden area to be added to the existing title, but there is a disagreement within the strata, and so they've blocked the plans. So, to start with, before we get into the parking kind of issue, what are your main thoughts on that type of apartment?
Oh, look, I mean, it's a great property in terms of location, and it seems like it's a quiet street and it's a small block, so you kind of expect to not have too many issues with getting resolution on adding parking. But
exactly, and it looks as if the strata's actually looking after the building, so that kind of building shot there, it looks as if it's pretty well maintained,
yeah.
And especially around the ocean with all this kind of salt and concrete cancer and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, a bit of a pain. So I guess the major negative that we're talking about here is the disagreement. So having DA approval, you guys call it something different in Melbourne, don't you?
Yeah, we call it a planning permit.
Yeah, so basically they've gone to council, they've got planning permission for it, but then suddenly you need strata approval as well, and without it you can't do anything, can you?
Yeah, and I think if you look at this, we're talking about a 3-bedroom unit, and we're also talking about a busy location, so parking becomes pretty important, and I think it'll also implicate sort of capital growth in terms of the value of that asset moving forward.
Yeah, so the reason we brought it up this week is I've never actually come across this before, because normally when you go through stratas, and quite often we try and get a lot of stratas to change the plans, is you get approval from strata to say, right, can I do something on this land? Then you go and get the approval from the council, but obviously something's gone wrong. Yeah,
this is unusual. So I don't know whether if they started off with that way, and then the cost of looking at actually the development's gone beyond what they originally expected, or maybe through that planning permit they had to make amendments to the plan, which then affects obviously the commitment of wanting to actually make the change.
And again, this is the difference between, I guess, average people going to buy units and professionals buying it. It's all in the detail. So you can read the real estate ad and it says DA approved for parking, which is factually correct, but you've got to go an extra step and ask the extra questions, which hopefully a solicitor will be doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So purchase or pass on this one for you?
Look, I'd pass because I think there is a big risk in the parking not being done, but also the fact that if you've only got 4 people there and you can't get agreement on an issue like that, which seems pretty obvious, then
pretty tough. Yeah, and look, for me as well, to invest almost $1 million in a property with no guarantee of parking is a very hard call, as no parking will stunt its capital growth into the future. So I'll be meeting with the other owners before purchasing, and even with their positive assurance, I find it pretty hard to buy. So I'm going to pass until it's all been officially approved.